Hi, everybody. Today, I'm thrilled to be speaking with my good friend Alysse. We will be talking all things crystals and energies and a take on what her customers are seeking and experiencing. So, let me start by introducing Alysse Mitchem. She is a crystal and gem vendor, an intuitive tarot reader, and founder of Lighting the Path Crystals. She has been sharing the power of crystals with people around the world for the past 3 years and is passionate about educating others on the many ways we can work with and benefit from the natural wonders, but is even more passionate about sharing the beautiful and healing energies that crystals can have on our lives and help us lead our lives with intentionality through the various seasons of our life. She hosts Facebook Lives, which, if you haven't seen yet, are so much fun, so exciting, and truly engaging. Even if you don't make any purchases, you'll certainly learn a lot about geography of stones and their metaphysical properties. And overall, it's just a good time. Okay. And it's not just about crystals, but other types of tools in used in deepening our spiritual practices or decor for those into the healing arts theme. So today we talk crystals, cover topics around not just how to work with crystals, but take it a step further with talks about grids, charging crystals, clearing crystals, even gifting crystals, and what to look for when selecting them, and so much more. Thank you for making time in
Sure.
your busy schedule.
Thank you for inviting me to come on. I'm excited.
Yeah, so can you start out by sharing a story or experience you've had with working with crystals?
Oh, there's so many. Where do I start? A lot of it is based off of my intuition. Especially when I'm making orders or putting orders together. I always throw in like something for free. And I am choosing things based off of how I feel. I use my intuition discernment. A lot of the times, the crystals that I go to are exactly the one that that person was needing or looking for. But it's just a lot of I listen to what it is that's being told of me at that time. And once I do that, I think that to me is probably the coolest and the most fascinating of it is the fact that I'm intuitively choosing, not knowing this person whatsoever or not knowing anything in detail of their lives, and I'm able to pick out that one. And then they'll follow up with me later on, like, oh, that free gift that you gave me, or what is this? And then I'll tell them and I'll explain to them sometimes the metaphysical properties, whatever. And that goes right hand in hand with what it is that they're needing. So that's
Yeah,
one of the many, but I have so many stories that happens often though.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I first started working with you, you're like, "Which one do you want?" And I'm like, "I don't know, you pick it. Use your intuition." For some reason, I just kind of trusted that you knew whatever I did.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, one, they will want me to choose for them because one, I have the product in hand since I
Right.
do work with people all over the world and it's different from seeing a crystal in hand compared to, on a screen. So they'll ask me like, "Can you choose me like the one that you like the best?" So sometimes it's not even about like the actual crystal and like the metaphysical properties. It is also how it looks. For example, the labradorite that I have, super, 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 super flashy.
Mhm.
Love labradorite. This is actually a crystal that I think anybody within the spiritual realm, I always will say you need it. But this is definitely one of those crystals that I will sit here and tell everybody, like, this is the stone that you're going to need if you're going to be working within the spiritual realms of things. It's very protective. But going back to where I was, this one, it's flashy, right? I have this one over here that's, like, even better, if you could see that flash.
Wow.
So there's those things of, like, which one do you think is the best? I mean, they're both really pretty, but in person, this is the one, even though you can't really see it on screen the best, but yeah. So there's always different reasons as to why somebody is purchasing a crystal, whether it be for the metaphysical properties or, because of how it looks or because they just wanna decorate the house like you were saying earlier. So it all just depends. It really does.
Yeah, I love labradorite because it's so magical, right? When you first look at it from afar, it's just like a little gray rock all
Right.
shiny. Then you pick it up and it's like looking into a crystal ball. You see so much, and
Mhm.
depending on the angle, and it just kind of like draws you in. It's almost hypnotizing.
Yeah. That and moonstone, they both do that.
Mm.
Yes, I love anything with a flash. Anything with a flash or a star. People, I always have to explain to them what a star is, and I'm like, "Well, when I find them, especially when I'm on live, um, like, I always am squealing or screaming or doing some weird noises because I get so excited because that is my
Mhm.
true passion. I love this. This is what I do, so I get very excited over yeah, I don't care how many times I see a star in a crystal. If I find it on a new one, I'm gonna definitely squeal out of excitement.
Mhm. So, can you give us a little bit of a backstory, how you got started, and what led you to launching Lighting the Path Crystals?
Well, actually, I am a tarot reader. So I do readings, and crystals and tarot readings go hand in hand. And I have actually been a tarot reader professionally for 5 years now, going on six. Yeah. Wow. It's a long time. It went by really fast. But with that, those 2 go hand in hand, and I started to get into the crystals, and then it's done nothing but just blown up, into more and more and more, but that's what initially started me, is my reading, and I loved crystals, and then after that, it just turned into more and more and more. So that's how we are here today.
Yeah. So I know one of your big drivers in doing what you do is wanting to share the powerful energies of crystals. And you always say you believe that everybody should be able to work with crystals no matter what their budget is.
Yes.
So when you're making your selections of what you want to bring to your audience, how do you either vet the distributor or how do they qualify? How do you qualify the stones, the quality of the stones?
So what I do first, especially because I do deal with people all over the world, well, um, I will always make like say small order if it is me not in person, and I will go ahead and basically kind of a test run, and just to see when
Mhm.
you are working with people, and then if it's good and I can see that it is actually like very okay, this is authentic. I could pick out I'm very good and I know when something is inauthentic. I know when something is not like subpar or even like, the best of the best. Um, and it comes with working with them for so long. So that's the best, like that's how I kind of filter through, like, who's good, who's not. I've had to let go of a lot of people because, items were not authentic.
Mhm.
And that's the biggest thing I think within the crystal community is authenticity. Also location and the locality of certain things, which is where I'm going into now more so
Mhm.
um, as well as like understanding the periodic table and like why a crystal will do what it's doing because I want to be able to have the science behind it and be able to, share with everybody else. Like this is what the world or what the earth was doing at this certain time. That's the really interesting thing about crystals is yes, it's actually telling a little bit of a story if you want to look into it that way.
For those who wanna work with crystals, how can they tell if the quality is high or low? Like, you go to these booths, some street fair, how can you tell, and what do you know what to look for?
I can definitely say that off of like, say we're speaking of a beginner never has like they are not going to know unless that person is very upfront and transparent with them, which is something that I make sure to do with all of my customers. I will let them know, like, hey, it's a man-made item. This has been touched or this has been altered. I don't like man-made items that much. I'm not very big on them. But if I ever do have them come across me, and I'm all about educating, and I think that's one of the biggest things that helps within,
Mhm.
having clientele and customers is they know I'm really trying to teach you, and because of situations like that, I want you to be able to go out into the world and purchase these crystals knowing that they are authentic. And I always tell everybody, like, if you are going to question or not sure, feel free to like ask me and I'll let you know. But I can say crystals should always feel somewhat cold. Now, if you're outside and it's hot, like you're gonna pick it up, it's gonna be warm. But within like a room temperature environment, they should always have a coldness to it.
Mhm.
Um, and then everyone is just a little bit different. I could say amber, it feels like
Mhm.
plastic. And when I
Mm.
tell people, I know it feels fake, but it's actually it is
Right.
it's sap that's millions of years old. And then as soon as I say that, they're like, okay, that makes sense. Like to think about.
Yeah.
So it's just and you can once you start working with it a little bit more, you could start really like pinpointing and like knowing, okay, this is real, this is not. Like it's honestly just being around crystals more. And then if you're very nervous about what it is that you're purchasing, if it is going to be real or not, the best thing you can do is one, ask the person directly. Two, you can always purchase the item and take it to your nearest metaphysical store or to a person such as myself that's been around and
Mm, okay.
ask. But that's the best thing I can say is it's going to have a coldness to it. That's what I can always say. And everyone is just a little bit different, but for the most part, everything has like they're very cool or cold, should I say.
Yeah. Okay. So as you know, the purpose of this channel is for me is to bring awareness, guidance, and ideas to those who are seeking either to heal from chronic illness, whether it's mental health or deepen their spiritual connection, and kind of offer them guidance in their awakening. But can you discuss some of the different crystal healing modalities, such as chakra balancing or crystal reiki, or anything that you feel comfortable sharing?
In the sense of a healing, the metaphysical properties. Yes. Is that where we're going? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So within the metaphysical property realm, I always will say metaphysical properties, it really is determined based on each person. And I say that because you have, say, labradorite, like I'm like telling you right now, this labradorite, who's working within the spiritual realm, they need labradorite on them because it's going to protect them from, evil intentions, bad things from the other side that we might not know about.
Mhm.
So now when I say that, it might not apply to you because you don't work within the spiritual realm. Same thing with bloodstone. So bloodstone is, it actually has a metaphysical property that it helps with blood circulation. So if I don't have issues with my circulation, am I going to really know if this works? So that I say it in that way because a lot of people within the crystal realm, they get upset with people such as myself who give metaphysical properties. And the reason they get upset is because they feel that it's a scammy thing or like you're trying to force somebody to buy something. And I will always pause people and say, you need to hang on because there are crystals. It might not affect you, but for other people, it does affect them. So you can't sit there and like, you can if you want, you can fight about it, or you can just be like, it does do certain things for certain people. So it just everything within I want to say spiritual journey, spiritual life, it's your journey. It's nobody else. And nobody can tell you what is wrong and what is right. But metaphysically, I can definitely say like there are certain crystals I will make sure that are underneath my pillow. There's certain crystals I'm making sure that I have on me, even if I'm not able to feel quote unquote the metaphysical properties. There are things that I'm like, I don't care. It has to be here.
So what do you put under your pillow?
I always have rose quartz,
Okay.
for love, self-love. I have a trinket of little baby tumbles all underneath there. Blue celestite that helps within bringing, your angels around. So while I'm sleeping and your subconscious, the thing is, I can go so many places with this. Your
Hey, let's go.
subconscious actually grabs onto the quote unquote healing properties or the quote unquote just yeah, healing properties. I'm gonna say that the metaphysical properties. It really does. take that in. We don't know what we're doing in our sleep half of the time, but our subconscious picks up on
Mm.
so much. Even, going to sleep at night and you're leaving the TV on, I'll no, 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 don't do that. Go ahead and switch that to like 432 hertz. Like everything, it all messes with our subconscious. And so while we're sleeping, we want to make sure that we are doing something that is actively better for us, more healthy, you know, while we are, because you tend to open things up and we don't know what we open while we sleep. We don't know what we close while we sleep either. There's a lot there. This is why I say I can go in so many. Which tunnel do you want to go down today?
Mhm. Yeah, so for me personally, crystals came into my life after I healed my physical health from a chronic condition. And I think it was my whole understanding of this is it's because once my physical body was out of the way because it was kind of hindering me from being spiritual, having mental and emotional health, I healed my physical body, and then everything else kinda just rose to the surface. It was like it was a spiritual awakening, but it was like a spiritual awakening that was so delayed for maybe, like, 20 years, right? And I needed to feel grounded, and I didn't know what to do, so I'm looking for crystals. I need I need nature. I need to go to the lake, to the beach. I need a grounding stone, or I just need clarity, right? I need to get back to it's kind of like when you're sick for a long time and then you're not sick, you're kind of like, okay, who am I? What is my purpose in life? What direction do I want to go in now that I have my health back?
Mhm.
So, but to get back to you, I want to ask your experience on like, so if somebody wants pyrite, right? We all know, well, we understand pyrite being a manifestation stone or a stone of abundance to attract money.
Mhm.
Okay. And that's how I understand it. If somebody wants to get a pyrite stone because they think, oh, I need more money, is there something deeper going on there?
Within the person?
Yeah, like, and I know it's kind of a general question, but in
Mhm.
your experience.
Yeah. So again, jumped down a lot of holes here. So when somebody is how do I put this? Without like going on a whole tangent. Um, Everything in life is energy. So when we're wanting more money, that a pyrite crystal is definitely, I would tell you to put pyrite and jade next to each other, combining certain crystals will actually help with bringing that in. You do have to set intentions into your crystals. So that's another subject. But with that being said, on a truly like mental psyche spirit like you were saying, that is all energetic. Money is an energy.
Mhm.
Relationship we have with money is an energy. So if you're constantly chasing, 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 and I need this, I want this, it's okay to need it and it's okay to want, but you have to establish some sort of different relationship with money, and a lot of times it's fear.
Mhm.
So because we have a fear with money, this is when you might want to put some clear quartz in there. Let's cleanse that energy. It's a master healer. So there are certain things where I can definitely take into factor of like, let's go ahead and like use a little bit of logic as well as your spiritual self and put them together and helping the person finding out what it is that they're wanting, what it is they're needing it for, the intentions behind why they're wanting it, et cetera, et cetera.
No, that's a great answer because I kind of think if people are reaching towards pyrite and they want more money, it could be coming from a lack mentality or a place of desperateness or like you said, fear. And maybe what they're really seeking is security, stability, some kind of transition from where they came from or something. Like there's always a deeper, like you can always ask yourself a million questions like, why do I want this stone or that stone? After you know the metaphysical properties. And then the other thing, can you speak about like when we're searching for, like, say we go into a crystal shop or somebody comes to your booth, they're searching for something, they don't know what they want. What's the best approach to have when there's so many stones out there and you're like, okay, well, so and so told me to look for this, and I think I want this. But what's your advice on that?
So at that point, especially if it's, like, overwhelming, I'll just tell like, it's just I'm gonna use your analogy, like, as my thing, like, somebody so and so told me this and this all this. I'm
Hmm.
gonna tell the person, "Stop. Okay, you want to like, let's go ahead. I want you just to go around, whether it's in my office or, um, out while I'm vending. Start putting your hand go ahead, touch the crystals. Please touch the crystals, touch them, feel them, see what it is that you're drawn to the most, and a lot of the time, what ends up happening is because not everybody knows what they're looking at, the person will keep going back to the same crystal, but it's in a different form, and I'm like, "You need this." So if it's I'm like, "You need amethyst." That's the 3rd time you've went to it. So
Or
that
if they I'm sorry to interrupt, but I have done this in your house where I'm like, "I don't like that crystal," but for some reason, I keep coming back to it. I keep picking it up, right?
all the time. It happens all the time, though. Then it's like that tells me, okay, you're whether so and so Mark and Mary told you to get, labradorite, you're clearly your spirit, again, your spiritual journey is asking you to get amethyst. So it's just and it's listening to yourself. It's listening and what like everything calls out to us for a certain reason. But I will get that a lot where people keep going to the same one in different form or whatever it might be. I also have, what was the other thing? Oh, it left me. It left me, never mind.
It's okay. It'll come back. I think too, like sometimes not knowing the metaphysical properties is not necessarily important or should be your guide. If you are just kind of looking around and you're using intuition or just what attracts you, either energetically or visually.
Yes. And that when that happens, it's a lot of like I said, it's a lot of the time they sit there and they keep going. They will always go back to the same one.
But you touched on what did you say? Clearing or programming your crystals? Can you talk
Oh,
about that?
yeah, intention. So, when you get your crystals, one, when you get your new crystals, you are needing to cleanse them. A lot of people don't. And I will always suggest cleanse your crystals. You don't know who has touched these. You don't know what it was they were going through. And I don't care what anybody says on this one. This is where energies, science backs it, to be honest with you. So I don't even need to. That's why I'm like, I don't even have the argument. But they do carry energy. They carry other people's energy and can carry anything and anybody, whatever is on that person, it can stay locked in there. So we have to cleanse it. We don't want any of that icky feelings, or even if they're good, you want your own energy on it. So that's where we're going to start once we do purchase our crystals and get our crystals in our home. We need to cleanse it. You can use Palo Santo sage. You can use the moon water, the sun. There's many ways to cleanse your crystals. Um, After that, whatever it is that you got them for, sometimes you bought them because you like it, but if we're using pyrite, for example, you're wanting to bring money into your life. You need to hold that crystal in your hand, and you can literally talk to the crystal, like, if you could talk out loud, it sounds crazy, but you're setting an intention is what you're doing, and you have to be very careful with how you say things. I will always say this even when you're not putting intentions, but be very mindful of the words that you're using. Don't say, I want you to help me bring more money in. Say, I have more money and you're helping me. Like,
Mm.
however you want to put that, you don't have to use those exact words, but just in the essence of you wanna kind of program your crystal of like, "Okay, this is what we're going to be doing. This is what we're doing this week or this month before I cleanse you again." Um, and then you do wanna reset those intentions every so often, just like you wanna cleanse your crystals every so often and so on and so forth.
And how often? Because I wear bracelets, I wear necklaces, I bring crystals into my office. I will cleanse my office pretty much every day. I do like the Tibetan bells and
And
then the selenite wand.
stones, yes.
But I have other jewelry, I have other things. I don't always work with them every day, but like, what do you recommend overall? What's a good frequency to? cleanse?
The frequency, I for whatever reason, I will love 432, hertz
Mhm.
sound. That's another way to go ahead and cleanse your crystals is using sound. Like I said, there's, like, different ways you can cleanse your crystals, and when we talk about hertz and sounds, is what I was talking about earlier when we were sleeping. You can put on
Yeah.
short
Yeah.
hertz to hurt. HZ, go on YouTube and just put it in. So the same thing, these are the bowls that people will hold or those big bowls, and I'm just explaining to the audience, um, in case they don't know. Um, and they tap the side of the bowl and they sit there and do this. That's going to cleanse those sounds will cleanse your crystals. The same way that you are feeling whenever that sound
Mm.
is over you, you're doing it kind of to the crystals, obviously in a different way. This is not a human with emotions, but it is definitely cleansing and restoring the energy of everything. Um, so sound is an amazing tool to use, and music is a very big thing even today where people don't understand music has such a big hold on us because of the hertz that are being used. Like I said, I can go into so many whole language rabbit holes
Yeah.
we go
Yeah.
into.
No, I do listen to the different frequency hertz, the music, but also using the crystal bowls, the sound bowls, the drums, the chimes. Um, yeah, it's very, it kind of is a like, I would say a cleanse, but a refresher.
Refresh. It's definitely yeah, it's definitely refresh. And then you were asking me as well, like how often to do it.
Mhm.
So when it comes to like the crystal, like I have mine on daily. This is when you want to use selenite.
Okay.
Um, Selenite is this is actually I'll have to give an education lesson on this. This is satin spar. So a lot of times we see this and people will say it's selenite. It is satin spar. Selenite is very clear. I'm actually gonna go grab it. But this is the crystal that you want to use when you are cleansing anything. If we're wearing them daily, like I do, your bracelets, jewelry, all of that, you do want to take your crystals off at the end of the day and put it on the selenite. Satin spar to cleanse that crystal. Especially if you had like a funky day or things that were just off and weird, especially on those days, you definitely want to do that, cleanse it, refresh, yeah, definitely do that type of work. Um, Now, if they're just in your home, in your office, like you were saying, then I would definitely, when the energy feels funky, always. When something goes off or there's an argument or anything, just funny, but at least minimum once a month with the full moon. Go outside, charge them, all of that. I have way too many crystals and I will not take every single
Yeah.
into I think I cannot. I don't have that. No.
Mhm.
But you could put it on your windowsill during a
Mhm.
sleep. The other thing a lot of people don't know is you can use the energy of the full moon 3 days before and 3 days after.
Mm,
So it's really like a
nice.
whole entire week. So if you miss a day, like when people, "Oh, I miss it." I'm like, "You didn't, you're okay. Just you could still use the energy of the full moon. It's not gone." So, and again, it's setting intentions. I do
Mhm.
wanna share that piece of selenite
Okay,
though.
yeah.
That piece of real selenite. So it looks like see-through
Oh,
glass.
wow, okay.
Well, this is your selenite, and then this is the satin spar, okay?
Mm,
Uh, this one, it's all they still do the same things. It's just, I wanna say it's missing one of the periodic table elements of it. But it's not, it is 2 different names. It's the quality, what it looks like, but I don't know the exact reason as what makes it different. I do know
m'kay.
what it makes it different, just by looking at it, 'cause I know the difference when I look at it, but this is why I want to get into the periodic table and understanding of all of that, which is a lot of work because I wanna have the, science behind everything.
That would be cool. I
Mhm.
think one of my favorite purchases is a little selenite bowl just for my daily just to take off my jewelry, my nets, I put it in there, and then I don't have to worry about it.
I love that you say that because literally the box that I have to open that's right next to me, I just got more selenite chakra bowls, heart chakra bowls, and they're nice and they're big. They're
Mhm.
actually massive. It's like fun. I'm excited that you said that because
Yeah.
here, and I haven't had them for a while. And then for a
And those will be displayed when? When are you gonna share those with the world?
I always so typically what I will do is I will always when I get a new order, I make that announcement. I got a new order, and then I want to say I do my live and I let everybody see everything. And then after my lives, whatever is left over, I will go ahead and post. So within it, it's always like about a week from when I
Okay.
receive the package.
Mm. And then I've heard you talk about grids on your lives, and I don't think I mean, I sort of put some things together sometimes, but not really as good as I should. I
Mhm.
feel like I don't have enough, knowledge in what I'm doing. So can you explain the concept of grids and how viewers can create um, their own grid layouts?
Yeah, and I'll also show you a book that I love to use to help with that specific
Mhm.
thing. Um, I always everything is intention, everything is yours and it's your own. That's I think that's one of the biggest things within the realm that I work in, that you work in. You can't do anything wrong. If it feels right, it's right for you. Because you do have a lot of people out here that will sit here and tell you, no, that's wrong to do. Now, if it's ethically and morally wrong, I'm going to tell you, yes, that's wrong. But there are certain crystals people will tell you don't combine, and I'll tell you as well. But if that feels good to you, I can't sit there and tell you, dude, that's wrong to do. So I do want to like reference and throw that out there. But everything is based off of intent. You do want to start your grid. I always like to start within the middle. The middle crystal is the one that is basically like the source. Um, that is the one like I want to always say like, but this is for me the most powerful. You know, this is my spirit. The most powerful, the one that I'm. So if we're gonna do pyrite again, I want a big piece of pyrite right in the middle, and I want to put that intention of, "Hey, I have financial stability." After that, I will always take clear quartz. These are Lemurian. They're clear quartz, but they're little baby Lemurian. But these are perfect. You take 4 of them, and I like to take these because 1, clear quartz is a master crystal. It enhances all of the crystals around it. And I'll take 4 of these and I will place them around that pyrite. And I will also, this little point, I want to point it outwards because I want that energy to go out. After that, you kind of just build, but it is all about intention. It is obviously I know a little bit more when I'm like telling you like put a clear quartz on there. Um, but that is definitely like your starting component. After that, sometimes I will make grids because I just crystals combined together and it looks pretty. Like I will do that depending on like whatever my mood is. But I do have a very good reference to help for those that might not know, so even for yourself. It's Crystals for Beginners, Amazon, easy, easy peasy. But in the back of the book, it shows you like this one's for grief, and it says like prescription. So you can take that and it will tell you like what to use, Apache tears, rubies, and it will tell you grief grid. There's forgiveness. Sorry, there's like not a lot. But it will show you different ways and what to do. So just go to the back of the book and then sorry. I'm like going I'm mirroring myself, so I'm like,
Yeah.
um, that is a very good tool to get you started. And I feel like if you once you do that and kind of like, okay, I know what to okay, now I'm understanding. That will, I think, catapult the person who's trying to learn into the direction that they're wanting to go. But everything's
Okay.
all about intention.
Yeah, and what do you recommend or what do you keep in what crystals do you keep in your car? I know you have kids, you have a family, you wanna make sure everybody's safe. The roads are crazy, people are texting. So what's your like what do you put in your car?
Moonstone. I will not travel without moonstone. Moonstone is a very great crystal to have, even for, like, truckers. Anybody I actually had my friend over last week, and she was buying some items. It was raining really bad, and she had to drive out of town. I was like, "That moonstone bracelet, you're putting that on you now." Like, so, like, this is when I'm, like, using those metaphysical properties. I don't care if you don't feel anything from this is you're going to wear it. Like, you don't have an option. It's just, that source. So moonstone, black tourmaline, clear quartz. What is the other one that I use? Think Oh, I have my amethyst in there as well. But moonstone, top of the list when we're coming to driving, and I always wanna say clear quartz. If you're gonna have a tumble bag, mix it in within those tumble
Okay.
bags because it amplifies the intention.
Mm.
It amplifies all of the other crystals. So, yeah, you're definitely going to wanna I will always tell people, like, throw it a clear quartz in there just to make it, more intense. You're wanting those intentions to really, really work well.
And as far as kids, what do you have to say about, you know, having kids wear crystals or use crystals?
Well, I love that the kids are so into crystals. Like today, it's just like all of the kids are fascinated with them. If my daughter wanted to like take me to school for a day, she would actually be excited that I'm like, oh, my mom's not crazy because she knows the other kids will enjoy it. When I have people come to the booth, they're always worried about their kids touching the crystals. I actually tell them, no, please allow them to do so because, again, they carry energy
Mhm.
and that, like, just loving, pure, like, just they're nice and innocent. They haven't been corrupted yet.
Yeah.
So I'm like, go ahead. Like, I allow the children to touch, play, hold on to the crystals however they want to. Um, and then as they get older, this is when we can start incorporating jewelry. I've had people like, because I make bracelets and I do make jewelry, and they will ask me like, "Oh, can you make a crystal bracelet for my baby?" And I'm like, "No, I cannot. That baby is gonna rip those off." So there's a little bit of differences in
Yeah.
do, but I definitely enjoy it. I want the children to come around, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Please don't, no, don't worry. If they knock a crystal over, it's like, okay." I'm a very go with the flow type of person, so I'm not uh, I'm not an uptight freak out. No, if it breaks, it breaks, and it's okay. I just, I'm more intrigued in wanting the child to have that passion or have that love for it, so then they can grow and obviously either teach other people or just have that relationship with these tools, because that's what they are, they're tools.
Yeah, and speaking of breaking crystals, sometimes things break, jewelry, a stone, a pyramid, whatever. What is the meaning behind that?
So, what we will typically say, in the crystal world is, "It took a hit for you." And, people get so sad when, like, their crystal bracelets or anything,
Mm.
"Oh, it took a hit for you. It took a hit for you." And it's actually pretty surprising because 'cause I'm like, when it happens to me, it doesn't happen often. But it's always on the days that are getting a little bit more chaotic and more fussy and just like, "What is happening?" And I'm like, "Okay, so then I'm assuming things could have gotten worse, but it just took a hit for me." Um, but I do wanna also say, again, on the other side of things, um, when things break, when crystals break, yes, I know, not fun, that sucks. But a lot of people will tell a person, like, "You can't use it anymore." And then this is when I come in and, like, you can't tell a person, no, they can't use it anymore. They can, and I always have to give the reference of, let me see, okay, we'll grab this. We have a little tower here. This is fluorite, really cool. I love this tower. If this breaks, it did not come out of the earth this way. It's already been broken down multiple times. So I do like to give that, like,
Mm.
all up to you. How do you feel? Do you want to, like, because you can glue some of these crystals back together depending on what it is. So it's all within the person and their perspective. If it does break, it's really on you and how you feel. Even with the crystal bracelets. And I'll tell people, save the bead so I can make it for you again. If they don't, a lot of the times they are like, no, it took a hit for me. I have to get a new one all over. So it's every
Mhm.
own
Okay.
little game there. Um, and I think just staying open in that essence of you can't tell a person that they're wrong for doing, at least on this side of things, this is where I'm gonna get real defensive of like, you can't don't tell that person what they're doing unless it's ethically or
It's
morally.
might yeah, it might be wrong for you, but it's right for them.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's because again, it's unless it's like, I don't have to say it again, but the ethical, moral situation. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's not your journey, it's theirs.
So
I'm here to guide, and that is about it.
mhm.
Sorry.
So I had a hematite ring one time. It lasted about a week and it broke. Then and of course I couldn't put that back together. So I later down the line I bought like a hematite bracelet. And then that didn't last long either. That broke. So I just decided, you know what? I'm not supposed to wear hematite.
That is so funny. I mean, I can definitely see it, but see, that's your journey, and I can't sit there and tell you like that. No, Eva, that's not right. But that's yeah, that's definitely like I don't. Maybe spiritually, you're not ready for it, or it is taking quote unquote hits for you. Um, but I think I do like that logic of behind that, like and I feel what's going to end up happening is it's gonna wrap itself back around and come to you where you, like, least expect it, and maybe I feel like you're gonna be in a situation where you don't even realize it's hematite, and then all of a sudden you have it.
Yeah.
So
So
to think
when
going to do and like, "Oh, now it's time."
that yeah, you could be onto something. And the way I interpreted that experience at the time was I'm just not meant to be that grounded.
And I love that's one of my favorite because of the grounding.
Yeah.
That and pyrite as well. Pyrite is a very good grounding stone.
Mhm.
Um, I need to stay grounded because I can go a thousand directions all the time until I have to come back.
Okay. So we're there I have so many topics to talk to you about, but I know we're kind of coming up on time. When you first get into crystals, at least for me, I learned the properties, right? Like jade is for this, quartz is for the amethyst, just kind of like the starter kit. And then you get into like the next let's say the next grade and you're looking at shapes. What does that mean? Like what do spheres mean? What do points mean? Can you talk a little bit about like lighter colored crystals versus darker colored crystals, rainbows in crystals, and then the shapes, and then even if you want to like polish versus raw?
Mhm. Yeah, that can be an all-day conversation. So each day, I'm sorry, not each day, but each, crystal, the shape that it's in, it does mean something. This is again I feel like I'm just promoting, I should yeah, promoting them right here. This is honestly no, it's a really great book for crystal beginners because it will go through all of those questions you just asked me because we are running out of time. It's literally everything. So if you're
Mm,
wanting know what, a point does, if you're wanting to know what a sphere, like a pyramid, they all do mean something. And if we're going to go into like crystal grids, if we want to go back to where you were earlier, that can actually incorporate what it is you're wanting to do with the crystal. Um, I want to put a pyramid here because pyramids are known for one, it keeps you grounded, right? But because of that shape and it's coming up to the top, it's also source and it's going up and reaching source energy. So, with that being said, it's there's a lot. There's a lot
okay.
you can learn and that can get very overwhelming. I do try to like go slow with people. I'm like, I know I don't want to throw all this information
Mhm,
at you until they start asking
mhm.
because it is so much and it can be overwhelming, and I don't wanna push people away. But yes, each shape, it does mean something. And this book is a very great reference. Colors, definitely will always mean things. But think of chakras if you're into chakras. Blues, whites are always going to be the top, the first one, your, crown. and
Mhm.
then, like, reds, that's gonna be, like, your root chakra.
Mhm.
So, there's a bunch of there's so many things. Purples,
There's
green.
so many layers.
Mhm. Um, like, for heart, it's green, but you have rose quartz, which is pink. So it doesn't it's like, there's still, like there is layers. There's, like,
Yeah.
layers upon layers upon layers, but it's just people will ask, like, "How do you know all of this?" I'm like, "Well, this is what I do for a living." Like, I
Yeah. You're an
enjoy it.
expert.
So I'm not. I would love to
Well,
say.
right, but you know what? That's why I love working with you too, is because you know so much. You're my go-to person to ask things about, but also you're also a student and always in discovery. Like I remember texting you when I learned about Lumarian quartz, and I need to get one now. Can you find me one? And then you also, I don't know what you knew about Lumarian, but when we started talking, you also got the opportunity to kind of do some research, and you were teaching me things, and I was teaching you things.
Mhm, and that's what I love. It's always a I love that, exchange,
Mhm.
just sitting there being able to go off of each other, but that's who I surround myself with. I like people that I can sit there and we can bounce each other, and I don't like to be the person who, knows everything, or if I do know something, I don't wanna come across that way because, that's just
You don't come across that way. You come
yeah,
across
and I
yeah,
I try not I don't want to
very
because
warm, so,
thank you.
um, yeah. Okay, so I discovered K2
Mm,
recently. I learned about it, I don't even know where. Then I got an email the next day about K2, and I'm like, "Hmm." So
it's
then I think there was 3 introductions to me, just and I was trying not to pay attention to it. But then I texted you, "Hey, have you heard about K2?" And you're like, "Oh, I just got some in," and sent me a bunch of pictures. I was like, "Yes, that's what I need."
and that's the other thing that happens within this realm, like, I don't believe in coincidences, and, like, even with you talking about the selenite bowl, like, I'm like, I just happened like, I haven't had a selenite bowl for, I don't know, like, at least a year, and then you just happen to ask about it, but it's stuff like that that will happen, and it also is an indication to me, like, you may need this or whatever's happening, it is things are aligning. I do not believe in coincidences, there's no such thing, everything happens for a reason. And with that being said, I definitely want like I pay attention and I find things like just very fascinating. Like there's no how did that happen? And it just to me is like the true magical essence of like what it is that you're really doing. I live for those moments. I love those moments. It's like the best and it's fun. And I even if I try to explain it to somebody and they don't get excited, it's fine. I have it with me, my
Yeah.
excitement. Like, yeah, it's just very cool and very neat to see. So I love what I do. And I'm helping people at the same time. So hand in hand in that situation of, yeah,
And it shows. It shows.
oh, you. I
Yeah.
really try to. And I will sit here and tell people that want to get into like the crystal business or anything like that. This is one of those things, businesses in general, you have to make sure that you're showing up for yourself. Um, you are doing your homework and your research and being kind. Honestly, at the end of the day, just being kind it's gonna make a world of a difference with what it is that you're doing. Ask questions. Don't just believe everything, even with me and Eva, don't just believe everything we're saying. Like, that's something that you need to go ahead, you have to ask the questions, and if I can't back it, if Eva can't back it, okay, let me go find out for myself. Don't
Mhm.
listen to anything that everyone tells you. Do your own research, and if you know deep down that you can do something, keep going and don't give up. It's not easy. You do have to show up for yourself. You have to do a lot of work. But if you find that passion, if you find what you're wanting to do, like you just won life. Like you won the key. Like, it's
Yeah.
just keep going.
All right. So, Elise, if it's okay with you, I would like to close our interview with some fun, quirky questions so people can kind of see another
Yeah.
side of you.
Yeah. Okay. I'm excited.
Okay. And if you want to skip any of these, just say, I don't know, or that is an hour long answer. So we can,
It's
okay. So, what is a non negotiable routine or ritual that you cherish and do consistently?
Making my bed in the morning. I have to. Like, I cannot get my day started, and I would never used to be that person as a teenager, a child. No.
That's a
Making
good habit. As a coach, I live by that too because it's kind of like it sets the intention for the day.
it does, and I don't like to I can't live in, like, I just need things just put away and up and where to be, and making the bed, it just feels good. It feels like I can start my day. If it's not made, it doesn't feel like I've started it.
And it gives you a good reason to collect all the crystals that you slept with and not
You don't see them half the time because 'cause they're
yeah.
I got 'em tucked in there, yeah, my husband Lee, he makes fun of me all the time for that. Like, everywhere, what is going on? I'm like, "Yeah, well, you married me, so you chose this."
So, what would you say to others who are seeking to cultivate a sense of purpose in their life in terms of building a deeper connection to spirit, whether it's crystal related or not?
Well, sit down and meditate, and with meditation, and people will say, "I don't know how to meditate." Yes, you do. I know a lot of us are taught, you need to silence your mind, you need to be quiet. Like, don't that is impossible. And I will tell that to everybody. It's impossible to stop your mind from thinking and I know I've just learned that some people don't have an inner dialogue or inner voice, which is a trip to me, which I'm like, what is that like? I wanna have that brain, but, no, you're literally cannot stop, and I always say if you're gonna stop thinking, you're dead. There's nothing shooting you, you're going to. So I say get lost in those thoughts, act as if you're like, basically take those thoughts and it's like a dream, and you'll be very, very surprised. That's when those random thoughts will come in, those random things that start to come in, those are actually downloads.
Mm.
Those are like you're dreaming while you're awake. The other hard part is meditating and how long it is. So I always say, like, do like 3-minute intervals, 5 minutes, and slowly get yourself up. Start at nighttime and going to sleep with the hertz on. Like, that is a
Mhm.
form of meditation.
Mhm.
So it's just, yeah. And so when people say, I don't know how to, I'm like, yes, you do. You just have been told this, and yeah, this is why we ask questions.
Well, that's a good answer. So, what is something you're currently obsessed with?
What is something? Oh, Beyonce's new album, and I'm like,
Is that that country album?
"Yes, I'm obsessed." And she has me in a chokehold, and I've asked her to put me down several times, and she will not. Yeah, I'm obsessed with that right now. I'm
Okay.
obsessed with a lot of things. Mac Miller used to be actually one of my I know I'm going off to the left. Mac Miller used to be my go-to. It's very calm, go with the slow music. So I'm
Mhm.
just wondering how long I'm gonna be here in this phase. I'm always listening to music while I'm working. I always have my headphones on, and it's just I always vibe. So, I am obsessed with that right now, though.
Okay. What is something you're looking forward to?
Something I'm looking forward to. Oh, I wanna say, honestly, all of the things that I don't know are going to happen. Like, just all of the magical moments, I do try to
Mm.
that. There's 'Cause I listen to music so much, I always tell myself, like, "Man, there's music out there that you haven't even heard, that you don't even know of yet. It hasn't been made, but it's gonna be your next favorite song."
That's a good
Like
way of looking at it.
like, you haven't even lived your best days yet.
Mhm.
Everything's mindset in life, and I know I come off as like, "Oh, like, she knows what she's doing and stuff." I definitely for transparency, I like to tell people, like, I do tell everybody that I do these things, but I still battle and struggle and,
Oh,
you know,
yes.
like
Yeah, of course.
"Yeah, Elise, stop it. Come back," so
Mhm.
I do this is my transparency.
Okay. What is a fun fact about you that a lot of people don't know?
Oh, wow. Oh, I feel like we're here. A lot of people don't know these things. What can I do? I haven't thought this about this. I'm not sure. What's a fun fact? I have I don't know what the fun fact about me. I should know this, huh? But I feel like we're here. I read tarot cards and I'm able to pick up on a lot of things, and she would be very, very
I'll
I
let you think about that one.
yeah.
Um, so Elise, thanks so much for taking the time and being on here and sharing your gifts with the world. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me. I'm on a lot on Facebook. Lighting the Path Crystals is where I am on Facebook. There is also Instagram, and that's Lighting the Path. Um, it's lighting underscore the underscore path underscore. That's on Instagram. So I have my website that is up and running for my tarot reading. So there's like kind of two different businesses.
If you haven't checked out Elise's Facebook Lives, they are a lot of fun and highly energetic. Find other links in the description. And if you're ready to transform your wellness journey, whether you're looking for support around spiritual awakenings or mental, emotional, or physical health, and want to overcome whatever it is that's holding you back from living full out and thriving, I am thrilled to announce a rare opportunity to work with me as your personal wellness coach. I'm offering a spring reset discount. Book your free consult with me today and let's chat. If you're into crystals and want to share your thoughts, type it in the comments. Thanks for watching.